Hey there, folks. Welcome to our first ever webinar here at the Home Building Hub. I'm Colin, and I'm here with the co-host of the Home Building Hub, Darren Brennan. And we'd like to welcome you to our first ever webinar. We've been doing the podcast, Daz, for the better part of 3 years now, getting lots of feedback, a lot of questions along the way. And we thought, you know what, let's create a community that people have asked, I guess, for, and they're trying to get an understanding, not just audio, but they really want to see the video component and us sharing the screen and walking people through things. And that's what we're going to introduce. So this is the first one we're going to do. One of the first questions we got already. So we're going to cover that. How are you going today, buddy?
Going great, mate. Yeah, really well, thank you. And I think it's going to be a really great improvement to the format that we offer. You know, obviously the podcast has been going, as you said, for nearly 3 years, and now being able to share screen and guide people through a bit more. And I certainly had that feedback previously. Wouldn't it be great if you could show us how to actually do it? And I think this is the first episode of doing exactly that, mate. So I'm really excited by this very first webinar.
Yeah, it's good. So we'll work out the best way to do this, but for now we're just going to screen share what we've done here. We'll put some questions that we've got there. Now, anyone who joins the community, which is Skool, Skool, Home Building Hub, then just search for that. They can ask questions and we will address those. So really we'll be led by you. If we don't get many questions or any, then we'll come up with the topics ourselves and make sure we're just providing value to you. So the most important part is we are an objective piece of content. You know, we do work in the industry, and what's important to understand is that when we're screen sharing here, we're going to see other builders, we're going to see developers and land and different bits and pieces. You will not see us put any negativity on any builder at all. We will just be using examples for context. So for example, today, what is a house and land package? We're going to show you a couple of sites that we think you should look at across the country. And we're going to show you also, I guess, as in where you can find them, but we're going to talk about understanding a flyer and a package. Like what are the pieces that make up a flyer and the package itself, and just so you get a better understanding when you're navigating, looking for yourself.
Sounds great, mate.
Excellent. So, Daz, do you want to answer the first question? We will kick off with that one, and I'll start sharing a little bit of the options we can cruise through. So,
for sure. So, I guess the question is, what is a house and land package? And essentially, what happens is a builder takes a block of land. They find a design that will fit on that, one of the home designs. They work out the site costs, the council-specific requirements, any covenants, design guidelines that might be in place, there by the developer, and essentially price everything up into a neat little package. And then you can go and either go to the builder's website, go onto places like realestate.com, etc., and find that package. And maybe Cole's a good interlude to maybe show REA and an example of that. So here's an example, Colin. I might throw to you to talk through this bit.
Yeah, sure. So REA, one of the things you've got at the top here is actually a new homes button. So if you're just looking for new houses, then that's probably a good one to do. If you just click on buy, it will show you all the established properties as well. So in this case, new homes, and then you could pop in. I mean, we're very Victoria centric. So, I mean, we can really, this will help any state, but I don't want to start putting in suburbs that we don't know anything about. But we'll just put something that's a common area over here. It's a Western region suburb called Tarneet. So when you click on that, obviously you can cruise through. There's 418 packages in there. Some will be paid for and advertised, like this one that has a bigger feature and everything like that. So what's important to firstly understand is what does it look like? What is it? This is a good one because it shows you a real picture, Darren. Now, this might be one that's under construction already, things like that. But most of these packages, like 99% of them, won't be under construction. They'll be to be built. So as you cruise through the images, depending on which builder and whatever, they will add the floor plan and some information about what is, I guess, available, but also some imagery. If you've got photos, that helps. But a lot of the time you will find not just photos, but you'll find renders. Okay, so like this one here, they got renders of how it's going to look. And a render being, similar like this one here. It's not a real photo. Okay, so that's one place I think realestate.com to look for. Most people go there, Darren, and look things up. So we can click on this one here, and you'll see they've got in Tarneet, you'll see the 443 if you're a first home buyer. So just check for that. If you're not a first home buyer, you'll be paying 453. And you can go through all the images and you'll see, in this case, the builder has renders, not photos. So it does depend because this house is not built yet, right? So REA puts a little map feature on there, gives you an idea where it's at. The builder, when they upload it, they've got all the information here. Generally, what you want to do is just cruise through this section, looking for something special, let's chat, go through all this sort of stuff. It has a basic level of the inclusions and things like that, which we will show you on a flyer shortly, okay? So realestate.com, definitely one place to look at, and you'll see all range of builders across here, even places, I guess, where Darren works, where I work. But as I said, we're really trying to promote this independently and objectively, so we're not favouring anything or any one particular builder. As you navigate. The other one, Daz, OpenLot.
Absolutely.
Do you want to talk a bit about OpenLot and what they've got to offer?
Yeah, so OpenLot, I guess, kicked off really featuring land only when it first hit the market. And in the more recent times, they've now opened up to house and land. So you'll find, again, if you want to navigate through that, Colin, you'll be able to hit very similar to house and land packages like you see on realestate.com. Again, you're going to get a slightly different level of information provided by these guys. When you do inquire with these guys, they're going to ask you for a little bit more information. They're going to ask you to verify your phone number, etc. So it's a little bit of a different experience when you're shopping, but essentially the same information is provided. The builders put together a block of land with a house design that fits with all the requirements that are needed there. They might have thrown in a promotion and some other stuff to really, I guess, create what's seen to be a really good value package, and give you some alternatives that you'll be really happy with. In this case, and the things to be aware of. In this case here, I'm going to suggest that some of the items shown in these pictures aren't the actual included items. They're just a bit of a guide, and there'll be disclaimers on the package, so we're not hanging it on them for doing so. It's just be aware of what that looks like, right? And again, you can go through different builders with different information. And again, when you do inquire and you start talking to the sales agent, you want to ask some more questions about that. Look, can I get an idea of what the standard vanity would look like? What what are my upgrade choices if I did choose I wanted to upgrade? And I guess, Colin, what we find is it's rare that someone buys the package, certainly a retail buyer, exactly as it is. They usually want to personalise a little bit to their needs, and most builders would love to accommodate that. If the house is under construction, whole different story. But if you walked into a display home with a flyer and said, "I'd like to buy this," absolutely, they'll sell it to you. But alternative to that is, "I'd like to buy this, and I'd like to add A, B, and C items into that, or take out a couple of items." Can that be done? And again, if the builder can accommodate that, they'd certainly make those changes for you. So, and again, if it costs more, you pay more, and if it costs less, you'll pay a little bit less.
Yeah, one of the confusing components to this, Daz, is you've got some facade images not quite what you get. Some images are not quite what you get because they're more aspirational or inspirational images. And some, like the first one we showed on REA before, was literally pictures of a house. So for you, the buyer, it's really difficult to navigate. Well, what is it that I actually get in this package? So our advice to you is don't overthink about the facade you see. It's just an image, right? It's just a guide. You can pick one of any of the facades that the builder has on offer to fit the house, right? What we suggest is just look around at the price. Does it meet your budget? Does the floor plan have the beds that you need? This one here's got 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. It's got a little living at the front. It's got a study nook there. Maybe that ticks some boxes for you, So you already know those things based on needs and wants and all the other stuff that we've talked about previously, okay? So don't overthink it. you just find a package that fits your, I guess, the plan that fits what your budget is. That's really important. Okay, so and then you can read through this sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, I think the best step is once you find a few packages that do fit within the realm of your budget, it might be worth reaching out and having a chat to those consultants. Let them explain it to you. Show me what other facade options are. Show me some real photos of your facades and things like that, because there's definitely a lot of confusion there. So what we'll do as a last step, Darren, let's go back to our questions here. So where can I find them? We think realestate.com.au. We think openlot.com.au, a couple of the main ones. There are other ones as well.
You also have places like the builders' websites. And the land agents also, if you're looking at a particular land estate, they'll also feature house and land packages on their websites as well.
Yep. Yeah, so if you've got a couple of estates that you like, then just type them up and have a look and see what's on offer. Okay. The last thing we'll share is how to understand an actual flyer. Now, this is similar to what you've seen so far, but if we have here's an example flyer that has been, I guess, we've removed all the information, but we just want to show you how the template looks. Okay, so explaining the first thing is the facade. Exactly like we just said, don't worry about the facade, to be honest. Like it's just an image that represents something that resembles that house. It's pretty rare, Darren, because it's challenging for a builder. You look at this house, it's got a master at the front here and then a garage, when in actual fact the windows don't match. Right, they don't match. There's only 2 windows here, but there's actually 4 windows here. It's because the facade that's been used is a render, and it's really probably more a facade that fits a 14-meter wide block, things like that. But it's not false advertising. It's just a bit of a guide to say, look, it can resemble this. Okay, so if you get a package that's a small house, right, the facade they use on that package is going to be different, because the reality is 8.5, 10.5 meter lots have like a single garage or a more narrow frontage. So therefore, what you need to do, is we've shared once before, is you need to get the drawings, you need to look at the elevations and see if you can get yourself a photo from the consultant of that facade. Okay, so don't overthink the facade. It is just, what do they say? Advertising, what do they say? Illustrative purposes only, Darren.
Illustrative purposes, correct.
Yeah.
It's there to grab your attention as much as anything, give you a bit of a guide. Again, in this case, you might well be able to upgrade to a facade like that. They may well have allowed for that upgraded facade in the cost, but the standard drawing doesn't show those windows, etc., as Colin mentioned. So
yeah, and that's just this one, So yeah, as we said, don't stress about the facade. What you want to look at is the price. Okay, cool. There's always a little asterisk there. So what does that mean? Does it include first home buyer price? They might, missing out on, is there 10 grand? If I buy this, it's going to be 713,000, things like that. So the area, the location, the estate, the lot information, every flyer is a little different, but they'll have mostly the same setup with the main things of the house size, the beds, the baths, the livings, and the garage. You really just want to check overall plan, price and plan together. If they've split out the land and the house, that's helpful. But if not, you'll just see a total price. You can inquire about that. And most builders will have a template list of these inclusions here. So it's not a detailed list because you can't fit them all on there. So in some cases, you'll see like QR codes and whatever, which we've taken off for the purpose of this. But that's really it. I mean, that's the fly. What you want to be mindful of is, okay, it's somewhere in the ballpark. Let's go and have a further discussion, because you can pick a different house for this lot, or you can fit this house on a different lot. Yeah. Don't be hung up on, it's not exclusive that you have to have this house with that facade on this block. Okay, it's a 12.5 by 26 block. So there's probably 3 or 4 other plans or designs that will work for the same size block that you might not like this one. That's why we encourage you, go and talk to the sales consultants once you narrow down a few builders that you're pretty keen on. So these inclusions, go Daz.
Yeah, with the inclusions, you want to, if you are comparing 2 different house and land packages, these are the highlights, I guess, of those inclusions, the standout points. So I noticed on this one here, it's got front and rear landscaping, which is not done by every builder. So again, this price 703 might be 10 grand more expensive than the next package you're looking at. But what you don't realize is you don't have to do landscaping, and fencing in this case. So, that price difference it's making sure you're comparing apples to apples when you're looking at different packages as well, and just working your way through those inclusions to see what's actually in each of those, packages. Because, like you said, if you don't have fencing and landscaping in this case, it might be 10 or 15 grand cheaper, and then the other builders advertise the price with the first home buyers grant taken off. You could be $25,000 difference in price, but reality is you're getting the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not getting the same. You're missing out on landscaping and fencing, and if you're not eligible for the grant, then the price will go up. So just, do your homework, I guess, on that sort of stuff.
Treat them as more of a guide. But yeah, it's a good point. This one has flooring included, higher ceilings. It has everything sort of in there, overhead cupboards. And a lot of these items builders use as promotional items. So some builders will promote packages really, really entry level, basic house, basic price. And then promotions will get you upgrades and things and whatever to get to where you need. In this case, it's sort of already all included. So the package is probably going to be higher in this case. But again, this is why we encourage you to take it as a guide and have a little look at the list and make sure you talk to these builders, their consultants, and get a better understanding. So,
Colin, one of the other questions that was in there was just that very first one was, are they exclusive? And maybe you might want to just really quickly touch on that.
Yeah. So mostly it's sort of a tricky one to answer, but if you have a look, I guess, in terms of the land component, then sometimes land can be exclusively held for a builder. But for the most part, most of the packages you see on these sorts of websites will be the house on the block that the consultant or the team in the head office or whatever has packaged up. Sometimes they might have it on hold for a few days or a week or a 2-week period. But I would say for the most part, they're not necessarily exclusive in terms of the land. As far as what I said before, the house doesn't have to be on that house on that lot doesn't have to be the case. You can grab any house and put it on any lot as long as it complies and it fits with the setback requirements and things like that. So don't be hung up on thinking that you must have this package, right? It's really not that narrowed down. You get an idea. That's why we say when you start your process, you should do a bit of both. Get an idea of some, after you've done your budget and your finance understanding, get an idea of some house plans on some different websites, get an idea of some building locations, some estates, and get a feel and start bringing that line in together, and then start talking to those people to narrow down further from there. So you're not, I would say no, Darren, most of the time they're not exclusive. Yeah. For house and land packages, townhomes are different because, generally there's a whole row of them and the builder has that land and they build them out accordingly. You can only build with that builder and things like that. So there are exceptions.
For sure. No, great, mate. Excellent.
Cool. Webinar 1, we are done. I think that's hopefully helpful for those people who are just kicking off their journey. And we'll continue doing these to provide some value and hopefully you've got some in return. And any questions you got, let us know. Just pop them in the group. Please come and join or share the community with anyone else so they can come and join and learn as well. Anything else to finish off there, Dazza?
No, thanks for listening, and hopefully the online content is really good for you guys. And it's a new experience for us as well, so it's great. Hopefully it plays out well.
Cool. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.